everyone is still getting settled because a lot of people are in line for
Yes, everybody's still in registration.
No, actually, a lot of people are in artists or artists and dealers.
Really? Yeah. But first Furry Con, you think?
It's my first Furry Con.
I've never attended a Furry Con, ever.
I could lie.
Actually, if it's 1869, I should say, what's a furry?
I'm not even born yet. Please, no.
Honestly, Uncle Kage, I didn't know if you were going to go to this convention or YumaCon, because I know you went to YumaCon last year.
I wanted to go to YomaCon, but,
Shit happens.
well, it's not so much shit happened, it's just I contacted YomaCon and say, boy, I'd love to be a guest again, and they're like, fuck you. Well, actually, no, not directly, they just didn't get back to me. And then Furry Alley said, we want you to be a guest. And I said, well, YomaCon hadn't said nothing. Okay.
We're having a very good year as far as stuff. Oh, the infamous paper straws.
Yeah. They got tiny little bit munched, but they'll still work.
I'm very interested in is it called Shake Shack?
Shake Shack.
Shake Shack has straws that are not paper, but they do say they are biodegradable.
You got to be careful. That's PLA plastic.
Oh yeah.
It's, bless you. It is, in theory, a biodegradable plastic,
That's what these
but
are.
it has to be composted. You can't just throw it into a landfill. If you throw them into a landfill, they will not break down. They need the heat and bacterial action of a composting facility. So if you compost them, that's great. But if you throw them in the trash, that's not great. Also, if they get into the recycling stream, they will contaminate the recycling stream.
Michigan has a huge problem with contamination of recycling streams.
Yeah.
And that's because no one educates people enough to know how local communities are doing it, because that's crazy, because we should just have one way to recycle.
And therefore, they have 5 raccoon mascots, which teach people how to recycle properly.
5?
5 raccoons? Why would they need to recycle? The trash is gone at that point.
Well, the metal raccoon takes all the metal, and then the hipster one takes all the
I just
paper.
picture the metal raccoon.
Yep.
Take your trash out, dude.
Purple mohawk and drums made out of aluminum cans.
Very nice.
That's amazing.
See, and this is shit like that. Absolutely can't stand it. My coworkers, obviously, what's that word? A beautiful word. Conservators, literally throwing tacos into the recycling bin so that it gets contaminated. They did that this week at work.
You're kidding.
Well, unfortunately, they all know that I'm a hardcore liberal. My coworker, Tom, literally makes me look conservative. I've never met a more liberal person in my life. So they torture us by literally destroying recycle bins constantly around the office.
But why would you throw out a taco? You eat the taco.
You don't understand how much money brokers will give these brokers as a thank you, and they just order these giant lunches that no one could ever eat. Remember your taco day? They do that like every Wednesday.
Oh, the taco situation?
We have a taco situation every Wednesday.
I haven't had tacos.
Okay, why are we having taco
months.
situations?
That would be a good problem to have.
Oh my god, I'm so happy about your straws.
I should wander and not hijack their panel.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah, you need to take cover for me for kind of horror stories. I have to leave, so yes.
Oh.
I called it. Des is like, I'll be there all weekend.
No, everyone knew. You know why Des doesn't know? Because I didn't know he was going to be here, so I didn't talk to him.
Oh, Des is coming?
No.
Yeah, I saw him down at the Rich.
That's not Des.
He told me maybe.
He was a maybe, but
He's going to the funeral.
that's what I figured.
That's allowed.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, you can't.
On a different note, did you two get the little star badges at registration?
I saw the star badges. I wanted everyone else to get them because you guys have given me stuff like that before. So if there's leftovers as I'm leaving,
I
I'm
forgot
totally
to
drunk.
mention that. I didn't finish our news.
That
Crap.
assumes
We'll deal with that later.
that I support the legalization of wood.
Oh, you don't have to support it or not. It's already done.
Yeah, it's legalized.
You know what?
It's recognized by the U.S. government.
Kage, why don't you support the legalization of one thing at a time? And we'll discuss there. Hello, everyone that just sat in the middle. Are you scared of the front rows?
No, I'm not scared of the front row.
Is it because I'm so loud that you're going to go deaf?
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
it's
Is it because I smell?
Yes.
not. No, I just like to sit in random places, that's why.
They.
That is a great answer.
Hang on. They smell. You stink.
Oh, yeah. I'm a fairy.
Yes.
I have a scent gland.
Oh, are those the straws?
These
I
are
am
the
so
straws.
happy that you found these. How the hell did you find this?
You don't find them. These had to be custom made.
I figure, okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you very
I
much.
did a search. For those of you who are brand new, fursuits need very long straws so they can drink through those muzzles. Nowhere in the world does anybody make paper straws in that length. And this year at Epcon, I'm the guy in charge of Epcon, if you didn't know that. I happened to look in the custodian's bin at the end of the convention, and there were 5,000 plastic straws this size in it. And I was kind of,
That
that
happens.
is so glad that that's water.
Got it.
Dude, you suck.
Oh, that tablecloth tastes terrible. Oh,
yeah, we have
you
an ad
see,
on it.
this is why I needed you in the front row.
No problem.
Keep going. Don't let me interrupt you.
I won't. So basically, nobody makes fursuit size straws, but I contacted some places. Most of them are like, well, the longest straw we can make is the standard 10-inch drinking straw. And I was like, well, okay, that ain't gonna do. But then there was two places in the US and one place in England that said, yeah, we could make them. In the US, one of them, I'm not even gonna,
Mention.
yes, the price was, it's like a buck a
Astronomical.
straw. It's like, no! What? Another one was a little better. For 10,000 straws, which is the minimum, they wanted almost $1,000. I bought 5,000 from England with shipping for $364. So, I'm talking his language now.
Now we're talking.
Oh, the folks in England who made these, they were kind of hoping we could get, they're all excited about furries when I told them what we needed
They
straws
should
for.
be.
So I told them I would get some pictures of fursuiters like using their straws. So they
I
could-
have a plan. Let's get the pictures this weekend.
Yeah.
Then we'll get a flight and we'll go down there and visit them. Because trust me, they'll drink with us.
They will. All right.
Let me know when you're doing that later. I'll get in suit. I don't care.
So now, this is your first furry convention.
We have decided it is your
Yes.
first furry convention.
Now,
First.
Time travel.
Nice.
for how many people is this actually your first furry convention? Okay, great. Almost 50%.
In that case, since you don't know me, I was totally joking about the front row. I'm just loud and obnoxious. I'm so sorry.
The loud, obnoxious fellow to my right is Alkali Bismuth, very, very well-known comic and improvisational genius in our fandom. He also is previously the chairman of Fur Squared, but he got out.
Lucky.
Yeah. And we have Mr. P. Wolf over here. I'll let you introduce yourself.
I am the chairman of Fur Reality this year. Someone help me.
No.
No, see, now I can already tell that you don't need help, and here's why. This gentleman over here, as he stated recently, is Uncle Kage. Uncle Kage is chairman of Anthrocon for the last
21 years.
20 infinity years. We do this panel at every convention we're at, and when we put in for it, we always say, if we could have a representative of the convention to show up to talk about the convention itself, that'd be very helpful. And how often do we get a representative from the convention?
Usually. Well, in Anthrocon you always do.
We're not talking about Anthrocon!
Which one are we talking about?
Every other con!
Oh yeah, it's pretty much just him and me.
Yes!
But we actually have poker with because we happen to run into him in the hall. Typically, the chairman is like, sorry, busy, can't go. But we
Yeah.
didn't accept that this time.
But I have to hand it to you. If you have the time to go do a panel, you're doing something right, Chairman. Congratulations.
Yes, I raised my thing.
We're going to poke ourselves in the eye with your murder straws.
They told me that they had to be long and rigid.
Moving on! Welcome to This Is Your First FurCon. We're going to do a few things here. First off, we're going to give some general information to make the weekend better for you. The first part of this is a little bit more serious, however, we are both comedians, so this is going to go poorly very quickly.
Yes.
So before we totally derail this thing, shall we talk about three little numbers?
Let's talk about three little numbers.
What would those three numbers be, my friend?
Well, you are the one in the finance business. You're good with numbers, and you're also
You know what?
Jewish. You tell us.
Thank you. I actually have a volunteer that I think knows where we're going with this. What are those three little numbers?
621.
Oh my God, I already like you! So the person who's at their very first FurCon, now have you not been to a convention before? Or
No.
you've anything outside of the furry fandom?
Probably not, no.
You've watched a lot of videos on YouTube.
Yes.
That's
Well
There
played.
we go.
621 is probably the most important thing you're going to hear from this panel, and that is because this rule is here to make your convention experience better.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than getting sick during or after a convention. So let's start with 6.
6.
Sam, what's 6?
6 hours of sleep, minimum. The 6-2-1 rule, this actually was developed by a physician in science fiction fandom, Dr. Robert Passavoy. It was originally called Passavoy's rule, but people couldn't remember that, so it became called the 6-2-1 rule. A physician suggests that minimally you should get 6 hours of sleep. And there are reasons for this. Your body is an engine. Like any engine, it needs to rest. When you sleep, that's your body's time to rebuild itself, to rejuvenate itself, to keep its immune system working. There's always some youngster out there who says, I can get by on 5 minutes of sleep, and no, you can't. No, you can't. You think you can, but you can't. You might be all awake and rah-rah with your 5-hour energy. Don't do that. But your body is wearing down. And if your body wears down, you will become susceptible to what has become known through the ages as con-crud. Con-crud takes many forms. You have in this hotel some several hundred, is it broke 1,000?
No.
Not yet.
However, you might know this, locations. Do you know if we have people from out of state or out of country here?
We have several from out of country.
Okay.
Well, other than Canada, because that's like a tax.
We have people.
That's just our hat.
Yeah.
We have a couple from Europe.
Okay. We
Perfect.
have people coming. I'm coming from North Carolina.
Chicago.
He's coming from Chicago. Every region of the country has its own particular flavor of the yearly cold virus, whatever you want to call it. Since you're exposed to that particular flavor every single day, your body just, okay, it's become accustomed to it. But now you're going to become accustomed to the gentlemanly North Carolina cold virus, which I am shedding probably. Not that I am actively ill, it's just it lives in your body.
Or the Chicago cold virus, which actually owns a gun.
Yes. It's known as the Cicero virus. What?
I'm figuring it out, you keep going.
Okay. So if your body wears down and you let your immune system get weakened, these viruses and bacteriae and phages and horrible things that we haven't got names for yet because we're still discovering them, little micro critters, they're going to get into your body, and probably by about tomorrow afternoon you're going to start getting the sore throat, you're going to start getting the fever. In some cases it's a gastrointestinal. We should track what every convention's con-crud is, because some it's in the nose, some it's in the tummy,
And some,
like a certain unnamed convention it's not a furry convention, in
Thankfully.
the Pacific Northwest. They had this really big convention right at the height of the H1N1 pandemic, and they had more than 100 cases there. One thing that I noticed, because I had a friend who went there and took pictures, when you go to register and you go to that keyboard, how many fingers had touched to that keyboard that you then touched? Incidentally, it's a good idea. Let's see if we can get to that first. To bring along one of these, this is hand sanitizer. It has a multitude of uses. Number one, it is effective against both bacteria and I've discovered viruses. And if the bar is not open, you can do that. Wow.
6-2-1 rule, very useful.
Damn it! Sorry. Well, let's now go from
I see nothing.
Really quick, and I just want to mention this because we do talk about this a lot. Hand sanitizer, absolutely wonderful for the short term. Exactly what he's talking about. Using a keyboard, being in a public place, hand sanitizer is one of your best friends.
It is not a substitute, though, for washing your hands. It's a good fix-it, but you should wash your hands frequently.
Here's a wonderful tidbit of information. Uncle Kage, after applying hand sanitizer, how many minutes does it take for your hands, bacteria/viruses, to return to the same levels they were before use?
Approximately 10 to 15.
That's it. It is for short-term use. It is for you just touched something and it was sticky.
Speaking of which, we've discovered if you sneeze onto your hands and immediately use the stuff, it won't be effective. When you mention sticky, the viruses live in the sticky. You have to let it dry on your hands.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Right, which is why you go wash your hands.
Yes, I am a scientist by trade. I don't just dress like this. I got a PhD in chemistry, Dartmouth, 1991. That and $5 will get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
I'm sorry, what Starbucks do you go to where $5 gets you a coffee?
North Carolina.
Oh,
We're a third world country,
Yeah.
remember?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
more expensive in Chicago.
Okay, that's the
Has been
6.
always was.
That's the
I'll
6.
let you do the 2.
2 to me, as a fat man, is much more important. 2 is 2 meals a day.
And what is a meal?
We're going to not go over what a meal is. We're going to go over what a meal is not. Pop-Tarts are not a meal. Okay, so a bowl of ramen is just salt and liquid.
Yes, this is not a meal.
Is this a meal?
That
That's
that counts
closer.
as a meal. It's a sandwich. It has filling. It's got protein. It's got grains.
It's got purple.
It's
That's
got
always
purple.
good.
Purple is a food
Purple is definitely a food
Yeah.
group.
That's jelly.
That's just, dude, that sandwich is so jelly.
Yeah.
This is what it comes down
I
to.
think
When we
that's
say
color,
when we say 2 meals, we mean 2 actual meals. Hopefully with a vegetable somewhere on the plate that you actually consume.
Yes. Ketchup is not a vegetable.
Oh dear God, ketchup is sugar. Ramen is salt, ketchup is sugar.
And Monster Energy is just toxic.
It's
Don't.
garbage.
We actually had a person at one of these panels try to claim that Monster Energy took care of both the 6 and the 2. He doesn't go to cons anymore.
Funny
But
that.
did it also take care of the 1?
Oh, Lord.
I hope not! That would be sticky, and we just covered that.
On the topic of the 2, people coming to their first con, you get so excited. It's like, oh my, I have found my community. These are my people. You run off. You will literally be so hyped up on adrenaline, you may forget to eat.
Yeah.
It sounds funny, but trust us, as convention runners, we see it every single year.
Before I was a convention runner, I did it
Yep.
at multiple conventions. And guess what happened to me after every con? Con crud.
Yep. Or you actually will crash. Your body, that engine needs fuel. Good fuel, not crap fuel. It's usually about Saturday at Empricon that we start getting the radio calls, unresponsive person in the lobby. And we slap them awake, and the very first question is, okay, after we check to see if they got, medical alert tags, when they wake up, we ask them, when did you last eat? And the typical answer is,
Wednesday.
yeah. That's what they're laughing like we're making.
Yeah, nope.
not.
This is a thing that we have to deal with. That was on my hat. I'm going to talk to people.
Yes.
What does it say?
Nothing!
It says nothing.
It says
Nothing at
621. So, 2 meals a day. Once again, guys, seriously, do yourselves a favor. Take some time for yourself. Go get a meal. If you know, there are some of us that are not going to have time for regular meals, myself and him included. It does happen. There are meal substitutes out there. If you know that's going to happen, plan a little bit ahead. In my room right now, I have 2 emergency chilled cans of Soylent. I do not like them in the slightest.
What are they made of?
Soylent is all vitamins. It's actually
And
for
it's
this
called
one,
Soylent?
as a joke, but it's actually pretty damn clever if you ask me.
Okay.
It's basically a meal replacement for 1 meal. Definitely not recommended to live off that. Do yourselves a favor, at least cereal bars, something that's not pure sugar and fat. Always take care of
Strawberries?
yourself. So, fruits, vegetables,
Yes.
hell yes.
Yes.
Hell yes.
To borrow them by the bowl.
Is also, if you're traveling in a group, have someone that has food on them.
Good.
Yep.
And don't let them be hard-boiled eggs with one of them being raw. I'm just
Oh,
going to
yeah.
throw that out there.
That- yeah.
What?
Yeah, don't ask questions.
It always happens.
Well, I mean,
The hard-boiled egg happens?
no, it was 5 hard-boiled
Like one
eggs
big
and
roll.
one that apparently got switched. So that was
Okay,
fun.
one word, Sander. There.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That makes
So,
sense.
that's the 6 and the 2. Suppose Hookerwolf tells us about the 1.
Your body permits odors.
Please shower!
Now, the 1 rule is the only rule that's not there for you. That's there for everyone else.
Yes, indeed.
Would you care to tell us about the wonders of the human body, particularly the nose?
Our nose is the worst in the mammalian kingdom. Just evolutionarily, actually I'm from North Carolina, God made our noses really crappy. Sorry, I had to throw that out there. We have the worst sense of smell in the animal kingdom. If you are exposed to an aroma of any sort, after about 15 minutes or so, your nose becomes desensitized to it. You can't smell anymore. People who work in sewage treatment plants, they don't even smell that anymore because they're constantly exposed to it. If you're putting off an odor, you will be constantly exposed to it and your nose won't detect it. Bottom line, you can't smell yourself, but we can. If you say, oh, I don't sweat, I don't need to shower, no, yes you do. Take a shower, and here's where, oh God, why do I have to do this? Take off your clothes, get under the warm or hot running water, rub soap over every inch of your body, wash the soap off, dry yourself thoroughly, and put on a different set of clothes.
That are clean.
Yes, yeah, oh yes, thank you. Oh.
Making sure that's there.
Are you okay?
No!
I'm having flashbacks, I'm sorry.
This is our life!
Remember, Axe is not a shower.
No, it's not.
This is a new one. The first time for this one. We've said before, wet wipes are not a shower.
No.
We learned a new one. This goes double. Clorox wipes are even less of a shower.
What the?
Oh, where'd that happen?
That was at a very recent convention, and the gentleman who got a very nasty rash from it then claimed, and I believe him because who else would do this, I did not know there was a difference between Clorox wipes and wet wipes.
Chemist here. There it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
That was
Oh,
it.
okay,
That was a thing.
that we need that for the con horse.
Oh, I've got it for it. And we have a new rule.
A new rule.
Furry Legal has texted myself and you. You have a message on your phone as well. There is now a 0. 6210, but like when you put a number into Excel, if the last number is 0, it just falls off.
Yeah.
So we're normally not going to mention 0. Rule 0. Commit 0 crimes.
Yes.
That's something that got added to this.
That's exactly what it says. Tell them not to commit crimes.
A message from the Furry Legal Department who will be...
Look at the juxtaposition.
What the fuck?
Your phone is scary. Don't commit crimes.
Should I show them the picture?
No!
No. What are we doing?
There's no cameras running on it.
Yeah.
No.
One more time.
Later.
6 hours of sleep, 2 meals a day, 1 shower, and don't commit a crime.
Or like
And
this.
in addition to the shower, brush your dang teeth.
Yes! Oh, thank you.
Tell them the trick with the breath.
Right. Oh, I found this one out recently. Somebody taught me this. If you ever want to know what your own breath smells like, you will be disgusted. Lick the back of your hand, wait 5 seconds, and then smell it.
I will point out
Thank
that
God I brushed my teeth.
11 to 12% solution of ethanol is antiseptic and will basically serve as a very effective mouthwash.
That is
What year is
wonderful mouthwash.
26.
They bend nicely.
Yep.
And spit.
You need a giant. You need a giant.
I'm not
Backwash into my glass.
This is a 4-foot-long straw.
Yeah, let me. Even though it's antiseptic, this stuff's a little fizzy. It's only 2017, but that's fun. You see it? A little secondary fermentation.
Yeah, there is. It's still pretty good, actually.
Sorry, wine enthusiasts. What happens here?
Have you guys
So-
been over to Jungle Gyms yet?
Oh, we're going later.
Everybody talks about jungle gyms. Now, another thing, we'll throw this out here right now. Alkali and I, as we have mentioned, we are both comics, and part of our idiom is the addition of alcohol. We learned this from the great W.C. Fields. You know, drunk people can be funny. Don't take that as role models, please. It's an act. We are here to make people laugh. Just because we are consuming alcohol, that's not encouraging all of you to do the same. If you want to do the same and you are a legal adult, that's your business, that's fine. Just know your limits.
Thank you.
Please.
Don't forget, this is very important to me as somebody who does enjoy a beverage with friends at a convention. You should have a friend. If you're going to be drinking, you should have a friend who you will be hanging out with that evening.
Yeah.
And that friend has a certain ability. In this certain instance, this man over here has this ability to me. At any time, one of us can go to the other and say, go to bed.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're done.
That's the end.
And
if your
that's it.
friend is
Yep.
telling you to go to bed, it's time to go to bed.
Yep. There's no question.
Yep.
There's no, oh, let me finish this.
Nope.
What your friend, because it's your friend, is telling you is, dude, you're acting like an asshole.
Yep. Or you're about to act like, if they're very good friends, they know when it's about to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we make jokes about this. We say know your limits fairly constantly. Because we really mean that. It's very important to us because in the end, don't forget one thing. This fandom is built around its attendees. It's built around the people at this convention. It only takes one person to screw up an entire convention. Please don't walk around drunk. If you're going to get drunk, stay in your room. This isn't the right place to be drunk. It really isn't. It's a nice place to have a cocktail with friends.
And you don't want to be that person who at 2:30 in the morning is taking the ride in the very expensive rave wagon.
Yes.
Because that seems to happen every year. There's one.
No discourses, please.
All right, and I'm going to take the uncomfortable topic, but we're just going to be very blunt because we are all furries here, and it's easier this way. It is not legal to consume a cannabis in this state.
Yes.
Now, if you are going to be one of those people that does not listen to this, and you are going to do it anyway, we're all aware that that's going to happen. Please, 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 leave the hotel,
Yes.
leave the parking lot, and go to a different location. Once again, this is protecting the convention.
Yes.
It takes one person to shut down this convention. That's all it will ever take. Please be respectful. We're not going to tell you what you can and can't, well, we are going to tell you what you can and can't do. However, if you're respectful about it, that means the world to not only this convention, but to the entire fandom. This fandom has a very good reputation among hotels. All these hotels talk to each other, and as of right now, this would be normally at Convention War Stories. Who would like to take a guess what 4 out of the 5 hotels that I've written contracts with have said is the worst group that can come through a hotel? We are a group, we come here, we rent it out for a weekend. I think you know this because of me. Do you know what it is?
Pretty sure it's the gamers, isn't it?
It is not even close.
No.
The gamers don't even make a blip on the
anime
chart.
convention.
Not the anime either.
How about the
What was that?
Brownies.
Bronies.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Actually, most hotels don't have to deal with bronies, but that's what's called a SmurfCon. I will tell you right now, no SmurfCon. I can't remember what the SMurf is an acronym. It basically means a convention where people are just having fun and hanging out, not professional. So, no, it is not like the anime and anything like that. One more guess before I tell you.
Athletic or frats?
Did you say frats?
Yes.
Frats is high up there, but it's not. We were guessing frats and police comes up a lot. And they sometimes do go a little hard because they're partying together, but
And
that's not it.
who's going to tell the police officer stop drinking?
Yeah.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Here's the crazy one. The most terrifying thing for a hotel to have? Bridge club.
Oh, yeah.
Bridge. The best story I heard. Yeah. It's old women playing cards. They all get together, rent one giant room, have their little convention, and go home at the end of the weekend. The best story I heard was from my hotel, where First Squared happens. Had a bridge club come in. The day it was over, their CEO walked into the office and said, "Well, we're not paying for anything." Like, why not? And the exact quote was, "You ran out of bread too early at dinner."
Oh.
And they refused to pay. Yep, they refused to pay. They had to take this to court.
This is your grandmom's convention.
So yeah, we have a very good reputation. Part of this panel is trying to keep it that way. And as always, thank you guys. we're going to show you all the respect that we are given. Oh boy, I've been driving all morning. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I'm very tired.
Through Chicago traffic only, right?
We might be belaboring the point, but it is very important. I'll add another tiny, teeny
Thank you.
caveat. Convention chairs talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know.
All right, I
Let's
think it's
move
all
on.
the bad ones.
We should probably tell them about these nifty things that are here. Why don't you tell
Yes.
them about these? What are these?
These are your pocket schedules. They are very handy. They will tell you where things are and when they occur.
Don't forget the map.
And they even include a little map that shows you exactly where those rooms are located.
There is.
On the
Yeah,
very
it's in the
first
front.
page.
Oh, yeah.
The hotel here is a little bit
Wonky.
Yeah, I like the.
It's a throwback
the
to our
wilderness
labyrinth
area
here.
One of the things you're going to use these books for, this is something I like to say, you get out of a convention what you put into it. I'm sorry, if you show up to a con, you bring your Nintendo Switch, and you stay in your bedroom all weekend playing it, and then we get a complaint, well, there was nothing to do, I'm very sorry. That is your fault.
Yes.
If you put effort into a convention, you will have the time of your life here. I cannot recommend, if you don't know what to do, if you don't know a lot of people here, panels. Find a panel that is something that you are interested in. Because the moment you walk into that room, you're going to be with a bunch of other people who are also interested in that topic. And that is how you meet people, and that is how you make friends in the furry fandom very quickly. You know this convention far better than I do. Would you like to go over some of the panels that are unique to this convention or that you would recommend going to?
So one of the more unique aspects to this show are, of course, our storyline panels.
Good, don't go far. Sorry.
If you're there for opening ceremonies, you kind of saw just a little bit of taste of that. We have more of those basically twice per day, one in the morning, one in the evening, the next one being 5 p.m. in Ferrara.
That's main, right?
The main events room. Let's see here. Other really good ones for this weekend, of course, would be the Fox and Pepper concert a little later tonight, 8:30 to 9:30. I'm so excited we actually got to have them this year.
Yep.
Whose Line is right afterwards in the same panel room. Some other more unique ones to this convention. Where the heck are
Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim, thank you. If you ever wanted to pretend to be a giant Godzilla monster stomping around a city, I heavily recommend going to the Pacific Rim panel.
It's kaiju.
You're basically a kaiju.
That was yesterday, wasn't it?
There was one yesterday. I believe they are running it again
Oh,
at
good.
some
They rebuilt
point.
the city.
On
Maybe.
rock and roll.
Well,
I
it was
think there's-
definitely, there was one
Yep.
yesterday, but...
That being said, this book is going to be one of your best assets at this convention. Find panels you want to go to and go to them, please.
Is Ruba still standing there?
No.
Who? I told him not to go far. We do have some folk here who are volunteer. Actually, all of the staff volunteer their time. Nobody here is paid. But we have some folk who are serving as your safety and security crew. They're wearing the gray jumpsuits.
They look like Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Their purpose is not to ruin your fun. Their purpose is to make sure you don't get hurt having fun. They take their job very seriously. They've been doing it a while. Not one of them is here to be the man. Don't worry about that. If one of these folks comes up and says, excuse me, either don't do the following or do the following, they're telling you that for your own good. Don't give them any back talk. Just do what they say or don't do what they're telling you not to say. That might be. You know where I'm going.
Close enough.
Thank you.
Same goes for those in the red shirts with the step pledges.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
not trying to ruin
Yep.
your fun, we're just trying to help.
And we've got folks who volunteer for no other reason than just to volunteer.
Hi.
Hi.
And I'm so thankful for you. Thank you.
No problem.
Would you tell everyone where to go if they would like to volunteer?
If you would like to volunteer, it is in our operations room. It is in...
Directly across from registration.
Yep. So if you have a badge, it's the room right across. You can't miss it.
Oh, here's another one. What should happen if you find yourself saying, oh my goodness, I have misplaced my cell phone?
You should go to the exact same room, operations. If you've lost something or found something that's been left unattended for a long time, just go ahead and just take it to that room, let them know. Safety team is more than happy to attempt to reunite it with the item's owner.
Speaking of leaving unattended for a long time, where's the...
He always does that.
He's
It's
fine.
Okay.
We know what you did.
We are all, this is a community, it's an extended family, we're all friends here, but not every single person here is as stellar as we wish ourselves to be. Let's face it, there's hundreds of people here from all over. We don't vet the attendees. If you've got an object of art or a piece of expensive merchandise, don't leave it somewhere and expect it to be there when you come back. It's like being at a shopping mall. Either someone's going to make off with it. Fortunately, more often than not, they will take it to lost and found. But there are still some things that go missing. I still treasure the memory. There was one year at Anthropocon, late at night, I was waiting for our guest of honor who was terribly, terribly delayed, so I was pacing around the lobby for hours. And there was a camera like one of these, but 10 times more expensive. One of these, it's got like gold inlay and sitting on one of the sofas, just sitting there. And I was down there from 10 in the evening till 12:30 in the morning, and that was still there. And I started asking people, excuse me, is that yours? Does anybody know who that belongs to? Nobody knew. So a passing person said, could you be good? Could you take that up, please, to Lost and Found? And the person did. And then, as sure as the day is long, the next morning, I happened to be in ops when this guy came in saying, somebody stole my camera! I'm like, really? Was it all big and gold inlaid and stuff? He said, yeah! I said, did you leave it lying around in the lobby? You the thing is, I meant just to think that, but it kind of came out. You know, when you get old, that happens. But yes, somebody stole it. Well, of course they did. You abandoned it, you dumb shit. What time is it? How much time do we have?
We have another 25 minutes, so let's go to questions before we do the other.
Oh, yeah, questions
segment.
before we go into the next segment. Any questions?
All right.
Okay. For how many people, not only is it your first FurryCon, is it your first time interacting with fursuits? Ah, okay, good.
Excellent.
There is, sometimes nobody raises their hand if we just skip this part.
Yeah, no.
There are some bits of fursuit etiquette, which is good for us to go over, because, one, we don't want you to commit a social faux pas, and also, we don't want you or the fursuit to get hurt. We happen to have a fursuit here. Could we borrow you, please, if you don't mind? Yes, yes.
If you are allowed to talk, what is your name? Excellent.
I'm Dragon Patrol.
Oh!
Damn. All right, give it up for the badass dragon.
Polska?
All right, would you kindly face the audience for a moment? We're going to show you guys something. This is a nice little trick. When you can see my hands, I want you to raise the appropriate hand. So if you can see this one, raise this hand. Once you can, please do that. Here we go. I'm starting back here behind his head, and he's not going to raise his hands until he can see my hands. Okay, not bad actually.
Pretty good.
Okay, so right now we have the field of vision side to side. Now this is still tunnel vision. He can't see out this far. What this means is running in from the side, they can't see you. But here's the scary one. Same thing, up and down, when you can see my hands. You already saw right to left.
Oh boy.
Top one.
Oh shit, yeah.
Dang.
Yeah,
Now-
okay. Think of this line going down about to the gentleman's shoes here, yes.
Now this is actually, believe it or not, this is a wonderfully visible fursuit. That is a much better field of vision than most suits that we encounter. There are suits, I want you guys to imagine this. Inside here is a person. His head is backed away from the front of the suit. So could everyone do this with your hands? And then put your fingers right here and imagine that is your vision.
Jeez.
All right, now that we understand that, what's down here?
Children and chairs.
Children in chairs. Kage, what is the appropriate thing to do when a fursuiter is about to, clobber a child? Besides, don't clobber the child!
That's the macro thing panel there.
No, we do not!
Right.
Vote down.
It is perfectly acceptable if a fursuit, and you can tell, if a fursuiter is like looking around up here, and a small child is walking, or the fursuiter is, stop! look down.
There you go.
You tell them, stop them, tell them look down. If they know the kid's there, it ain't gonna hurt for them to look down, is it?
Right.
If they know the steps are there, it's not gonna hurt for you to tell them. It's gonna hurt if you don't. Do not ever assume that a fursuiter knows what is within a 10-foot radius. So, for example, if you're looking at the fellow in the red shirt there, and I'm coming up to you here, you can't see me at all, can you? I didn't do anything for you. Yeah. See? It's amazing having such a small field of vision.
I can hear you moving, yeah.
What? You can hear out of that thing? Well, that's actually really good. God damn it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, do you have a question?
One more thing,
Yes.
keep in mind, even if they have that one tunnel, bridge of the nose is also a blind spot.
Yes.
Sometimes they cannot see directly in front of them.
The one that we all do, because especially if you live in a city, is walking in front. I do this constantly. Just try to bear in mind, if a fursuiter is moving in a direction and you need to cross their path, they have the right of way.
Yes.
If you dart in front of them, they're going to be surprised that you're there. They're going to stop immediately, and somebody is going to slam into their back where their tail may or may not protect them.
Yes.
So stop it.
Also, if you're around a fursuiter, give them a little bubble of space, because if I'm standing here and he suddenly decides he wants to walk off to the right, he's just going to turn and start walking. He has no idea I'm here.
It's the cutest pile-up ever, but we don't want it.
Here's another one. Is anybody here come from anime fandom? We see this happen all the time. Oh, look, it's cute! Ah!
Yeah.
Don't do that. The kids in anime fandom do that all the time. They call it a glomp.
Yeah.
We have had back injuries, we've had broken bones, we've had neck injuries, we've had bloody noses. He didn't know I was coming. It's hard to tell.
They.
They.
If you don't know, they is usually good.
This is a good point to mention. It is considered very bad form ever to touch a fursuiter in this area, because you don't know who's in there. In general, you shouldn't just go putting your hands on the fursuiter. We want to do that when we see a cute animal. We want to, oh look, we want to pet it. You should not do that. You should not do anything to a fursuiter you wouldn't do on the subway, for example.
But not the Chicago subway.
Yeah, don't just go up and say, oh, you're so cute. Imagine if you're on your way to work and all of a sudden this old guy comes up and goes, oh, you're so cute. You're going to deck me.
That's how we became con-chair.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. This is how we like to say this. I'm going to ask you a question. You can feel free to shake your head no. Okay. This is what's called a partial fursuit. If you notice, lift your hands, please. Hands into the sleeves of his jacket. The head, however, everything else, street shoes, street pants, this is a partial fursuit. May I ask, feel free to say no, how much did this cost you?
I think
18. $18.
Your friend made you their suit, that's great. $1,800, this is a partial fursuit. Let us clear up a misnomer right now. There are people, especially outside of the fandom, who say that we are a group of people who get together and wear costumes, and that is wrong. This is not a costume, this is a work of art. Fursuiters are not somebody cosplaying as animals, they are living, breathing pieces of art and culture in our community. And these suits may have been something that these people have saved up for untold amounts of time to be able to own and wear and perform in. This is not an animal, this is a person in art. And I hate to say it like that, but we need to understand that, because what happens when you pet a dog and their hair comes out, their hair grows back. This doesn't.
Yeah.
Please be very careful about damaging suits.
Don't scratch them. Don't do that.
Now these suits they do look so fluffy and soft. If you do wish to encounter the soft, floofy, may I? The back of the hand. Sometimes, if they agree, they'll lean in for the nose. the soft part of your fingers, never the nails. And you're just there, touch the dude, and always, always, always ask permission for that. Some people don't like their suits touched. Why? They don't know if you just ate Cheetos.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or if you got the corn crunch. Okay, they're laughing like I'm being funny. People do that!
Yeah.
I've seen people do that. Give me a hug!
Which brings us to one more thing, and then yes, something is going to happen possibly to you this weekend. Now, we're furries, hugging. Eve and I have greeted, even my non-furry friends now, hugging. I love to hug. Hugging is wonderful. If a fursuiter does not want to be hugged, so first off, the international sign for hug. That is not how that works, but it's acceptable. If a fursuiter ever does not want to hug, they will just wave you off. Never take offense to that. There's a very good chance it has nothing to do with you. There's a very good chance that behind the fur and the mystery and the art is a very sweaty boy who, if you hug them, he will be cosplaying as a sponge. They're just trying to protect you.
Yeah.
Never take offense to that. It's a very common thing. It's for you, not because of you.
It's also possible that this person may be overheating because these get incredibly hot, incredibly stuffy. The best description I've heard is wearing your sofa. For that reason, traditionally, we always give fursuiters priority on the elevators because they don't want to take the head off necessarily in public. They want to keep that illusion going. They might need to get to their room because they might be close to passing out. How are you on water? Do you want some? Good. Okay, good.
Which then leads us to the basically the last thing we're going to talk about fursuiters, and that final thing is what to do if there is a incident. Now you talked about security a little bit. Could you step in for a second?
Yes,
please?
we need you.
This is a security uniform. Guys, these people are trained in what to do in certain scenarios. One of the scenarios, especially in the furry fandom that pops up all the time, is overheating. They know what to do. If by chance you come across a fursuiter who is sitting still, and you notice that they've been sitting still for more than an okay amount of time,
Oh, that's so cute. I gotta get his picture.
Oh God, yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
it is perfectly okay, and you will never be blamed. Are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you see how he didn't respond?
Yeah.
That means, yes, I could use some help.
There is actually there are two answers to that question. If you say, are you okay? The first answer is yes, and then there's everything else.
Yes.
Because one of the first symptoms of a heat-related emergency is mental confusion. This person could be in the first stages of heat stroke, and you say, are you okay? And the answer is, that's
Let's get you
that's
some
a no.
water.
Yes, let's get you some water.
Ow.
Don't try to take the head off.
Thank you.
It might be attached inside. You never know. I recall. You beeping?
Yeah.
Somebody's beeping. Ah,
It's a body cam, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's
right.
good. You're good. You're good. Batteries, though.
there was a fursuiter at a convention many years ago, before we had these and the water stations.
Pixie sticks.
This fursuit, it's not a pixie stick. You can pour Jello in and discover. Anyway, sorry.
It's fun.
There was a fursuiter who was in the lobby, and I could see that his chest was kind of rising and falling very deeply. And I went up and said, "Dude, are you all right?" And he said, I'm just really overheated." And I said, "Well, can I do it?" He said, "No, I just need to rest." I said, "Well, how about some water?" He said, "Yeah, that'd be great." Well, we didn't have these straws, so I had a wonderful idea. I'll go to the bar and I'll get a piece of ice. And I said, if his jaw could open, I said, we'll just put the piece of ice in, and you can suck on the piece of ice. This will not only cool you down, but it will get you some moisture. So I did. I got the piece of ice, and I had to lean your head back, and he opened his jaw, and Now, I always sucked at basketball, because I saw this piece of ice hit here and go down, and that's how I invented the fursuit dance competition.
To finish up this one very quickly, there are a few things that can happen. If you come across a fursuiter and you ask them, "Are you okay?" and they cohesively say, "I just need some water," feel free. Go grab them water, go grab them a fursuit straw, that's wonderful. if a fursuiter is non-responsive, we talked about don't take off the head. That's very, very important. This is actually an insurance thing.
Yeah.
Look to anyone else around you and tell them, go get staff or security. Once again, they are trained in what to do, and what they are doing is covered by our insurance policy. If there is no one around and you don't have a choice, just start yelling and finding a security person. But if at all possible, send somebody else and you stay with the fursuiter.
Yeah.
Just stay with them. So this is not a huge hotel. Security will be there quickly.
You're losing the blood in your arm.
Yes, I know that you've been trying. Go ahead.
Two things.
Yeah.
First of all, fursuit etiquette. If you have a little animal you want to take pictures with, never hand it to the fursuiter. I had a little dog pee on my fursuit once. It was awful.
Wait. Oh, what? Oh, God. Yeah, don't.
Okay, we're adding that to the con part.
Little animals or babies. We can't hold on to them.
No.
Do not pass your child. Oh, my God.
Here's another one. If you want to stand up for me again. Okay, can I have a picture?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, ready?
Oh, hey, how you doing, dude? It's nice to see you.
Pretty good,
You
yeah.
having a good con?
Oh, having a wonderful time so
Who's
far.
this?
Oh, this, I don't know.
Oh, dude, that's terrible.
This is AC/DC, okay.
That's terrible. No, get your lighting right.
Oh, no, wait.
Filters.
Okay, how do I
man.
turn the flash
Well, that's
on?
just porn. You're in your
Oh,
picture.
no,
hold on,
okay,
hold on.
wait.
Other way. There you
Got
go.
it. See, that happens. The poor
All the time.
Here's another one. Hey, dude. It's video. Tell them that first, could you please? Yeah. You know, there are so many videos of fursuits doing that. Yeah.
All right, I think
Anything that we have missed that we should tell
we got one more thing over here.
Oh, yes.
Also, if you see someone overheating, especially if they're a silent suitor, and you're leading them somewhere, if their hands are shaking, get them somewhere where they can take their head off immediately.
Yes.
Oh, right,
Shaking
Headless
hands.
Lounge. Where's Headless Lounge?
Headless Lounge is, if you go back towards registration, it is literally down that hallway, first room on the left.
If you don't know what Headless Lounge is one of the very few places at this convention where photos are not allowed. It is a place for our wonderful artists/fursuiters to go in, sit down in a place where people will not be, take their head off, dry out part of their suit, because we have fans in there, have a drink of water, and just relax for a minute. That is the proper place to take any fursuiter that needs to cool down. If they're asking for help getting somewhere, that's probably where they're trying to get.
There's also a fix-it kit in there.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So, in summary, give them space. Don't crowd around them, because they might move suddenly. If they're heading for an obstacle, call, say look down or stop. Look down, you're heading for an obstacle. Give them priority, and if they appear in some way to be in distress, it's perfectly okay to say, are you all right? Especially if they're lying still. There's some universal postures. For example, if you see a fursuiter leaning against a wall doing this, that's a pretty good guess that you need to ask that question.
If a fursuiter is overheated but trying to stay in character, they will, and they are overheating, they will make this motion. That is they might want your help getting to Headless Lounge. If they make this a proper thing is, would you like some help getting to Headless Lounge? They might be staying in character. That's a normal thing. But if they're doing this, they're still fine. They might just need you to escort them somewhere.
And here's something that I hadn't thought of. Some fursuiters have mesh eyes. Others have plastic lenses that sometimes fog up.
Right.
There's been instances where a fursuiter's doing this. Do you need help getting to the fursuit lounge? And they've said, I can't see. That's fine. You're going to take them because chances are they're going to take the head off. There's going to be drips coming out of it. Their hair is going to be all slicked down against their head. Oh, here's another feature.
You have a new one?
Some of these are extremely cute. Don't develop a crush on a fursuit because you never know what might be inside.
I know you're pointing at me, ass. Oh, I didn't know. Nice. Guys, one more time for our fursuiters. Thank you so much.
By the way, did you notice where I put the wine when we got the hug? This is almost instinctive for me. If you've got a beverage or a sandwich or something, put it way back here for the hug.
Yeah.
Or put it down, fursuiter.
Put it down. I don't want to put it down because alkalize.
I will totally drink that.
Also, if you are coming up to a fursuiter and you want a hug and you have makeup on,
Oh, please. Yeah.
Oh.
especially if it's a white fursuit.
Especially nothing, if it's anything.
One of my lab coats, one of my older lab coats, still has pink and blue stains on it from somebody who was body painted for the dance. And it says, oh, it's water-based. Okay, that particular lab coat is nylon. This stuff won't come out of nylon. Doesn't matter if it's water-based. It basically permanently stained the lab coat. I keep that lab coat with those stains as a warning for others, because there's a pink stain here and a blue stain here and a big blood stain right here from after I discussed the matter with them.
I didn't hear that.
Sorry, you didn't.
Not your con, not your murder.
Yes, not your
All right. Before we move on, any questions? That's a safety
Any
team.
questions? Or there's something the chairman wants folks to know. Oh my God, dude, that's freaking alcohol abuse.
I didn't touch it. I don't even know what that
Did
is.
you notice there's a
I can try that off again.
No, this is going back with me to my room, getting wrung out into a cup.
I think we have a question, yeah?
There's a video on.
For my particular fursuit, I cannot see directly
Correct.
in front of me. I have to look like a horse and look to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Limited field.
like you said about obstacles, like some fursuiters can barely see anything.
There's a few fursuiters out there that, don't forget, there are these giant, beautiful novelty heads. There are more than one fursuit where they are literally out here. Okay? Watch out for those. Yes, that is a perfect example. All right, anyone else before we finish this up? The last thing I'm going to talk about, and then I'll hand it over to the con chair. There's one other thing that's going to be happening this weekend, especially if you come to a panel with myself and this gentleman over here running it. Charity.
Yes, charity.
This weekend, we are here for a cause. Could you take just a minute and describe the charity that we have here this weekend?
The Ohio Alley Cat Resource is a no-kill cat shelter that has saved so many cats over the years with the help of everyone in this room, and that has attended the convention in the past. The fact we're able to keep raising money for them is amazing, and we want to try and give them the best year we possibly can. So,
That
if you
means-
have something you would like to donate,
That being said,
I'll let you go for it then.
this weekend, we will be running a multitude of panels. When you go to these panels, sometimes we are going to mention the charity. Sometimes it's happening passed around the room. Sometimes we'll just ask you to throw some money into some kind of a receptacle at the opening. Sometimes we just have you shove it into his pocket and laugh at him. At no time, and please correct me if I'm wrong, one convention actually had one of these. You do not have any charity necessary panels.
We have only one charity panel.
I'm sorry, that they have to pay to get in?
Oh, pay to get in? No.
Okay, once again, there is no such thing as a panel that you have to give money to enjoy. This is the furry fandom. We are all here to help these animals. The furry fandom at this moment is knocking on the door of raising $3 million for charity over the... We don't actually know when this started, not the fandom itself when they started recording this. There's a gentleman at MFF, Midwest Fur Fest, who has been keeping track of this, and we believe that this year, 2019, we will cross the $3 million mark. Myself and him are going to be pandering for charity. We are going to be yelling that out into the audience. At no time should you ever feel that you need to donate. If you can give, give. And if you can't, don't worry about it. Enjoy the show, and just know that you are part of a community that is going to take care of these animals. We are here to help those who cannot help themselves, and to me, that is the most important and most wonderful thing about this community. So thank you very much for joining us. One last time, give it for your convention chair, Poker Wolf! And ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of AnthroCon, my good friend, Uncle Kage! My name is Uncle. I enjoy the convention. Remember, you're going to get out of this what you put into it. Have a nice night.
Don't forget the cards.
Oh, and Poker's going to hand out some of those points. Thank you.
If you would like some points, please come to me as you enter or
Silver Gatoman, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gatoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gato Man, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.